Which, funny enough,
same manner I left most jobs in my broadcasting career.
So, were you a game player before that? Were you really into games, or was it something you just picked up upon the job?
Did you have to fake it?
I was horrifically, as all my siblings were, addicted to the ZX Spectrum. We used to have, we had the little cupboard in our house that was the games cupboard. And the Spectrum was set up in there. My dad was working on the oil rigs, which I don't think there's any danger of police action to say this now, was a hotbed of ZX Spectrum piracy. He would come back.
Clive Sinclair is going to break down your door.
He's gonna come up my drive in one of those little cars.
We found him.
And so my dad would come home with these great seats.
It wasn't the oil rig from series 2, was it?
It was the same field, the same oil field actually that we filmed the opening titles for.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, he would come up with these big C90 tapes full of all these Spectrum games, and myself, my two brothers, and my sister and I used to absolutely beat the living crap out of each other for who would get the next shot of Daley Thompson's Decathlon or Chucky Egg or Match Day or whatnot. There was a Scramble. There's a version of Scramble on the Spectrum, but Penetrator. Oh man,
Penetrator.
Penetrator.
That was sadly not featured in GamesMaster, or you could have gone to town on that one.
I tell you what, that was innocent times. That back then you could name a game Penetrator and not get in trouble.
Penetrator, where you smash the green dots deep inside the mysterious red square.
Wow! It was almost certainly Melbourne House or someone that made that game. And Penetrator was great because it was one of the first games that had a level editor. And I remember that you would program these levels so they just had nothing but these kind of huge big towers that you could blow up for tons of points, and there would be the screen slowed down so much you literally went back in time because it couldn't update fast enough. But no, we were big ZX Spectrum players. When I was at university, there was a game called Cyberball, I think it was. It was like a future American football game. Yeah, we played that in the student union all the time. So yeah, no, I was a games player. I didn't have the money to get an NES or anything.
Oh,
I paid my dues.
But it wasn't a career choice. You were thinking, as you were working in the office, you know what, I need to get into TV and games being one, or you didn't fancy writing for the many magazines back then.
No, in fact, the complete opposite. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and then I wanted to be in telly. But no, I wanted to do chat shows, and actually when I actually turned GamesMaster down actually after the first pay offer that they gave me.
You're shitting me.
No, I did. They offered me the most derisory amount, and I thought at the time, look, I'm doing stand-up. I know the kind of things I want to do on telly. If I do a video game show, that might compartmentalise me in a way that I might struggle to get out of.
Mm.
And so I knocked them back, but then they came back with a bit more money, and I said yes. And and it's a shame because it did compartmentalise me in a lot of ways. And I was thinking that when I was getting ready for this interview, I was thinking a lot about the show, and I think in a lot of ways, I did video games themselves a great disservice presenting the show. I think I personally did. By not just in terms of my presenting, but in terms of interviews I did where I kind of played down my own personal enthusiasm for games. Because I was like, oh no, this will be seen as a bit unhip and uncool, and I won't get the music radio show that I've always wanted, or I won't get the chat show. And when I ended up a couple of years ago, there was a phenomenal TV show called Video Guiding that was in Scotland on the BBC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A couple of Scottish guys who started off doing an internet show called Consolvania. And I made a couple of appearances on their show, and I was embarrassed by the passion and the commitment and the love that they showed of video games in a way that was just as funny, if not more funny, than GamesMaster ever was. And I thought, you know what, I really sold them short, because these guys have shown that you can actually be really funny, you can be committed, you can actually say just how phenomenal these things and how important they are as a cultural force, and still be funny and still be credible. But I think I was just so worried that I might be, hamstrung by this being the video games guy, that I never quite conveyed how much I actually loved games.
But to be fair to you, that is something that really is only just recently come in, that, you know, you can be proud to be a geek, you can certainly be proud to be a gamer, and, you know, the fact that we've had this conversation many times on the show, it's now all right to say in public, yeah, I play games at the weekend and, you know, it's my hobby. So screw you if you don't like it, because it's becoming more acceptable. I'm not too sure I was a 12-year-old boy back then, so, you know, it was perfectly fine for me to be playing games then, but you know,
imagine being an adult though.
Yeah.
Imagine
exactly.
saying, I like Super Mario Brothers, and your 30-year-old mates are going, why?
Yeah, and to be fair to you, if I think of just TV shows that are based on games, GamesMaster is the first one that comes to mind. So
Sure.
to think that, you know, yes, maybe you weren't taking it as seriously as possible, but that's one of the kind of benefits, I think, of it, because you knew kind of what you were doing. You know, it was jokey, it was fun, and it was great entertainment, and I think that's probably what you were more aiming for, rather than trying to, you know, say great, you know, games in the future, they're going to be, you know, the biggest thing possible. So, yeah, you know, I like that.
I think you're being a bit hard on yourself, Dom, as well, because it was a very important show for games. I think you kind of had to go with the flow in terms of public appreciation of them. And I think you just about hit it right, as opposed to, I hasten to say that standing up and saying, no, wait, take games seriously, and the entire nation would have gone, you know what? The Scotsman's right. We got to start doing this. But, you know, I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. Ultimately, more and more over the series, there were more adults present and more adults playing games, and not just baffled celebrities, C-list, D-list, etc., being put in front of games they'd never played before, possibly in front of games when they'd never played games before, and doing badly. It was, you know, you were there as games grew up, as I said earlier.
Yeah, and I have heard rumour that the video games industry has managed to survive in spite of my enthusiasm. I hear rumours that it's still bubbling away out there.
Well, if you look at the game's timeline on Wikipedia, you are there, you know, and it did say, you know, massive setbacks caused by Dominik Diamond, but still, we survived. We prevailed. Okay, so, to the celebrities.
Yes.
With all respect to every single guest you've ever had on over the years, some of them seemed a little bit baffled, as I said, as to why they were there. Why were they there? For instance, I just watched Gabrielle play King of the Monsters. Why?
That's a great line from an Arctic Monkeys song, isn't it? I just watched Gabrielle play King of the Monsters. Why were they there? I think it was like I said before, that you needed something to take it out of the realms of just being a show that had hints and tips and reports and reviews of games. It needed something to cross over into making it a kind of acceptable form of light entertainment genre television. And we needed that. It's, you know, I can't even imagine how many extra viewers we would have picked up when Take That were on, for example, even though, Robbie was a big gamer, but he was the only one, I think, who was. But, you know, we had to have people like that on the show, because that's how you get 3 million viewers.
Yeah. Well, you pick up all the female demographic in one fell swoop. You know,
right. Take note, Al. We're going to take that next week.
Yes, we will. Yeah. All except for Rob.
You know, I think some of the celebrities we used in really clever ways. I think the most ingenious challenge we ever did was when we had Jimmy White, who was playing on a real snooker table, to clear up the colours before the computer on Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker could do it. Now that's in anyone's language. That's whether it's Tomorrow's World or Comic Relief. That's a phenomenal bit of television.
You need some help from an expert. Well, they don't come more intergalactic than ours, so let's take a trip to GamesMaster's Consultation Zone.
Hello, GamesMaster.
Welcome to my consultation area, up here on the helipad. How can I help you?
I can't find the Blue Switch Palace in Super Mario World. Can you tell me where it is?
Ah, that old chestnut. The Blue Switch Palace can only be reached from Forest of Illusion 2. There's a deceptively placed illusion wall toward the end of the level. Simply walk straight through it.
Thank you very much.
That's quite all right. Next, please.